Do your kids struggle with letter reversals? Do they write their letters backwards, write words backwards? Do they struggle with identifying B and D and G and P and Q, Q and P? Do they get confused? Well, hi, it's Cindy here from Your Kids OT. Today we're going to be looking at some of my favourite ways to encourage a multisensory approach to prevent letter reversals when writing. So to start with, reversals of letters are really quite common until children are of age about 7.5. We do expect it a bit earlier because at school they're expected to read and write at quite an early age. But the literature says that at about 7.5, that's the time that we need to really begin to worry. Some of the things that children do are actually writing letters from right to left rather than left to right. And that can be a confusion of crossing the midline and direction and understanding and discriminating between left and right. Let me show you. So some children will write letters like B, instead of forming it with a straight line down and then with the circle component, they will form B with the circle component and then continue and make the line. But they get confused as to what comes first and what is on the left side and what is on the right side. They might start writing their B and move to the left, intending to write a B, but actually forming a D. The same can occur when writing a D. A child might be intending to write a D, but instead they form the line and then get confused as to left and right. Which way should I go? And form their letter this way. Some children can identify, oh, I've made a mistake, it's actually a B instead of a D. And other children, it just adds to their confusion. What is a B? What is a D? So a multisensory approach looks at not only the visual information that a letter provides and discriminating between different letters based on what they look like, but we really look at how do we form the letters, where is the starting point, and what direction do we move in? And encouraging children to move from left to right for most letters is a really important skill. One of my favourite ways to work on letter formation is to encourage children to use wiki sticks. And I'll use one colour to discriminate the left component of the letter and one colour to discriminate the right component. So with the letter B, we might form it with a straight line down and then add the round section of the letter. Now, depending on the font that you're teaching your child, you might form it like that, or you might form it like this. And I guess in this video, the font itself or the type of B is not important. I just want to show you how I discriminate between the left and the right side. So with the letter D, I will ask them to use the left component in the same colour, B, and then the right component with the corresponding colour. So we might work on a whole group of letters that all start with a straight line down, and we might reinforce that by using colours. And then I might even have the child write using those colours to discriminate. I don't have a lot of visual aids that I print for children working on reversals, because I often get the child to make the visual aid themselves and incorporate a multisensory approach. So we might use glitter glue to make the letter, and this will encourage fine motor skills at the same time. And my glitter glue is running out, so it makes it a little bit harder to do. So again, I might do one component with one colour and then change over to a different colour to form the other component. And I'm forming this upside down, so I hope it's readable. Glitter glue is fantastic when it dries. It becomes a tactile aid as well. So children can run their finger along the letter and practice letter formation, getting that sensory feedback. children might have difficulty discriminating between a B and a D and not know where the circular component part is positioned. That involves a visual spatial awareness that some children have difficulty with. So using something as simple as washi tape rings and markers, textures, you can be practicing and playing a game and discriminating between different letters, asking children to make those letters and working them out. Of course, when most people think multisensory approach, they're thinking about messy play, such as shaving cream or sand or jelly or salt or something like that. And those things are great. Shaving cream is very motivating and it does help provide some of that sensory input. And I've just put some on the tin here and it can be extremely motivating. Whoops, I formed that with too many lines. But it doesn't have to just involve messy play. A multisensory approach is just using different senses. So you might want to encourage both the visual and the auditory input at the same time. Use a verbal prompt. You might have a set script that you use to describe a letter B. A straight line down, up and around is what I often say. But you can also ask your child, what could we call this action that we're doing? Are we going up? Are we going down? Oh, maybe we're adding a lollipop stick and then we're adding a ball like a B, and this is the letter B. You might ask your child, what do we call this bit? Do we call it a C first and we're making it a circle, and then we add a tall stick, and then we finish on the line? So you can use your script or you can invite your children to create their own script. These letters that I have here are part of a set of flashcards that I have available on my website, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. One of my favourite ways to work on letter formation in a fun, sensory way is to use Kinetic Sand within a little box like this. And I often use a golf tee to help with the letter formation. I love the Kinetic Sand because it does give that proprioceptive input, that feedback through the muscles and joint as they work on the movement and develop the muscle memory that they need, and they learn through their movement, through the kinetic motion. So often I'll combine this with another approach at the same time. And we might also end with writing it as well. But it's very motivating, and you can also encourage a fine motor component by using a golf tee and tucking in those fingers, and it's just something small to hold with a tripod grasp. So I hope I've given you lots of ideas today to work on letter formation, and particularly those letters that are tricky and can be commonly reversed. Try some of the multisensory approaches that I've given you today. For more information, please do check my website for the blog post that talks about letter reversals, and I'll link that in the description below. Thanks for watching again, and I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it, and I hope to be with you again